In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how top performing agents are spending 10 times less per qualified call while closing 20 plus deals every single day. And I'm going to walk you through the entire platform so you can see exactly how it works. I'm John Ventura, and over the past decade, my team and I have been running ad campaigns and generating leads for insurance agents and some of the biggest companies in the country. And we've managed over $100 million in ad spend across Medicare, health, life, and every insurance and home services product you can think of. And over the years, we kept seeing the same problem over and over and over again. Agents were spending a ton of money on leads that either didn't answer or weren't qualified. Just a lot of wasted time and money. So we built our platform to fix just that, and it's been working really well. The core idea is pretty simple. Instead of buying a list and chasing people down, qualified shoppers call you. They've already filled out a form and said they want to talk. You just pick up the phone and have the conversation. That's it. And the big problem everyone has, what if the call sucks? What if no one actually talks to me? We've got that covered. Every single call is recorded. So if you get one that's dead air, you can submit it for review and ask for a refund so you're not stuck paying for bad calls ever. All right, I'm going to walk through the whole thing from how to set up your account, how calls get routed to you, how the dashboard works, and how pricing is structured. All of it. If you're curious about how this could fit into what you're doing, there's a link in the description to book a call with our team. They can answer your questions and walk through your specific situation. But for now, let me just show you the platform. All right, so here we're going to go through the account setup. The account setup is very simple. This is the call sync webpage that you will land on, right? And to get set up very simply, you'll land on this page, right? You'll put in your information, your first name, last name, your email, your phone number. You'll create a password. You'll create a name for your agency, right? Here you'll select and tell us where you heard from us, right? In this case, you'll put other and just type in YouTube, type in the specific video as well. What carriers are contracted with. This is so we know how many policies and plans that you have available to you. Where do you currently buy leads from? And then any promo codes, if applicable. Maybe we'll have one in the description for you guys as well. After this page, it's gonna have you select your products and the states that you're licensed in, and then you'll go ahead and finish your setup. I'm gonna go skip this and move on to the next part. So after you've set up your account real quick, it'll take less than 60 seconds for you to just type in your information, go into your email to verify your email, and then go ahead and land on this page. Once you're in this page, you're going to be able to log in, right? And you're going to see this, exactly what I'm showing you right now. This is your quick little startup demo, right? And what will happen here is it's going to capture a credit card for you if you can. And then once you have a card added, there will be no card charge, but this is just to make sure that you are a real person and not just a spammer or scammer or something. Then here you'll have the option to go ahead and load up your wallet, or you can go ahead and just skip here. What I would do is go ahead and load $250 and move on to the account, and then you'll land here on your agency, right? When you land in your agency dashboard, probably going to have no data because you've taken no calls yet, right? But to walk you through the high level of the platform here, there's 3 levels that we operate under. There's an FMO, then there's an agency, and then there's an agent, right? The agent account here is where the magic happens, where you actually take calls and get connected to consumers. For the agency is where you manage all of your agents and your downline hierarchies, right? Your FMOs, you would manage all of your agencies if you have a bunch of agencies under you, right? Or if you have a bunch of partners that are buying calls from you or what have you. So at the dashboard, when we log in, you'll see here's your wallet, right? Where you've already added funds when you just came in. If you wanted to add more funds, you can quickly add here, type in the amount and pay. If you wanted to switch or transfer funds between agencies or between agents, you could do that right here as well, right? Here you would select the agent you wanted to switch to, or if you wanted to move from one agent to another agent, you could do that here, right? And that would show you, and you can leave a comment later as well. Here you can quickly invite more agents if you just wanted to really quickly, right? Here every account will have an account manager as well, right? So somebody that's assigned to you to help you succeed and to help you grow here and to make sure that you're selling, that you're smashing your CPAs, and that you're growing. Next here you'll see CPA. This is one of the most important metrics for you as a business owner, for you as an agent, is what does it cost me to close a sale, right? So if you get paid $347 as an example as a Medicare agent for every year 2 enrollment, that you bring, and it costs you $79 for every one of those policies. Hell of a business here, right? The question is, how much more of those can I put in here? Here's another important call metric. This is your conversion rate from calls that you paid for or took to calls that enrolled into a policy, right? So if you paid for 700 calls and 180 of them turned to policies, that would be a 20% conversion rate, right? Some of the data is off a little bit on this demo account, but it would show accurately here. This would be what it cost you, right? So this cost divided by how many enrollments would be your CPA. Right, so this is the total amount that you spent for the day. This is what it cost you for each of the actions or enrollments that matter to you. Here, if you're an agency, you would see the total number of live calls if you have agents under you, the total incoming calls taken by your agency or yourself, the total calls you paid for, and the total calls that you enrolled into a policy. Here you have some things just for especially agency managers to be able to manage their team better, right? So they can see their average wait times, average talk times, average total wait time, and average pause time, and they can see this for each individual agent as well, and I can show you that later. Here we have just high-level dashboard, so you can see some different high-level metrics if you wanted to go down here. This is your compliance dashboard that I'll go and show you in a second. Here you can see high-level view of your agents, what stage they're in, what verticals or not they're in, right? Here's an ongoing. These are a bunch of your calls that are happening live if you were an agency manager, and it doesn't work in this demo environment here, but you would be able to click into this and actually portal would open up and you could listen in to each of your agents, barge into their call if you wanted to. You could whisper into them so the consumer doesn't hear them, but they hear them. There's a bunch of different features and functionality. Continuing down on your dashboard here, you have your agent rankings. You can see a list of all of your agents, what stages they're in, who's in a call. From here, you would see a little telephone, and you can actually hop into their call the same way as I said above. Here is different stages, so you can just quickly sort through your different agents at different stages and see where they're at. If we keep scrolling down, we'll see some different performance metrics. Again, state breakdown of your calls, activity of your agents, disposition breakdown of your calls as well, and the weekly performance overall. If we go over here to agent analytics, here you'll have a big high-level dashboard. This is where your agency managers normally live, right? And here you'll see the data for today and for whatever time frame you want here. So you can see again the average wait time, the average talk time, the average ready time, login time, calls that might convert. So this is based on how many live calls that we think might be going into an enrollment. The conversion rates, their live calls, their incomings, their billables, their enrolls. Again, all the high level information, who your top 3 dogs are here based on more incoming calls, based on enrollments, based on whatever you want. Here again, you can filter through all your agents and sort through them and kind of quickly hop into their calls. Again, the call tracking. Here you have some alerts to make sure that they have enough funds in their account to keep rolling. And we will have automatic agent allowances rolled out here shortly as well. So you can just set different rules like based on CPAs or based on conversion rates, allow them to just keep the wallet funding. Here we have a heat map that we're working on to show you just kind of like more supply demand opportunities, right? Like if you're only concentrated in certain states or regions, but there's a lot of hot zones that you're not looking at, we will be identifying them there for you. Here you have your compliance dashboard, right? So you can see we have here broken up the perfect call from call greeting and introduction, contact verification, Medicare eligibility, needs analysis and SOA, closing the sale, payments, summary and benefits, and closing the call follow-up. This is only for Medicare right now. We will roll this out for different products in the next few weeks as well. Here, compliance dashboard, so you can see all your different agents and where they fall or rank according to the compliance dash and scorecard, which again, we can edit for you guys if you needed to as well. Here's your call logs, so you can see high-level information of all your calls. Here's when it started, when it ended, where you billed, who took it, when they take it, what happened in the call, the customer's IP as well, so we'll literally see the exact location when the consumer, where they were when they took the call with you. Well, for most of these calls, recording of the call for compliance, a link so you can save it to your own assets as well. We have integrations with Go High Level and Go Guru as well, so you can just automatically import all of your information over there. In the call logs here, we can click into each individual call, and then you'll have a more high level detailed analysis of what happened in your call. Here's your CRM data that you've collected here from the dialer, which I will show you later. Right here again, the recording that you can go ahead and play through, the compliance checklist, their IP, where they were, and again, any other information that we kind of captured. Going into your wallet, this is what your wallet looks like. Very basic wallet, right? So you can just add funds and distribute funds as needed. Here's your agency dash, right? So you can see different high level information on your agency. and how your team is performing, right? And a lot of these different data metrics we can help change for you. We can also open up, this is now like an agent specific profile, right? So you'll see here, here's Michael Thompson, right? Here's all of his information, all of his different data. If we change the date, it would show different information. In this demo environment, it doesn't change. But here you'll see again, just high level, where they are, where do they stack up. And again, we can customize these dashboards for you as an agency owner as well, right? So going back here to your dashboard now to switch over to the agent, right? When the agent locks in, this is where the magic happens. Here you'll select, let's say it's Medicare English, you'll have your states that you want to take calls in, and you'll see much the same thing that you just saw in your agency dash. The agency, the agent, and the FML are all very, very similar. We just have different layers of reporting, as you obviously have a bigger organization under you. But for the most part, a lot of the functionality is the same, right? And the biggest thing, the biggest difference is here in the agent dash, right? So when an agent is ready to take calls, all they need to do is very simply come in here, press play, wait a few seconds, and then the phone will start ringing, as you see here, with a consumer that just saw an ad for the product you're selling and wants to talk about it, right? So a few things here in the dialer. You can do conference calls, you can schedule a call back if you wanted to, right? If you needed to for whatever reason, and the platform will then remind you and help you call them back as well, right? Here you'll notice we have a few little different tags. These tags are things that we capture throughout our funnel. So like here in this example, we know this person is a veteran for Medicare. We know this veteran is a C-SNP, so that means that he has a chronic condition as well, right? We have his IP, as I mentioned earlier, which we can look at and make sure he's in a state that we're licensed in, which we see here, Texas, and his zip code, and I would just confirm that. I see that he saw a cashback ad, and that he saw it on Google, and that he's probably 67 years old, right? So if this person called me in, right, the first thing I would do is kind of follow along the script that we've set aside here, right, which is CMS compliant as well. All right, so we follow along this script. This script is CMS compliant and is driven by our internal agency, which we work at to obviously not only be 100% compliant, but to have the best conversion rates and CPAs that we possibly can as well, right? So following this checklist is what will give you your compliance scores later on that we saw in that high level dashboard at the agency level, right? If you check off all the boxes here, then that means that you've gone to the perfect call. You've gone through all the check boxes, similar to a pilot taking off on a plane, right? You need to go through the checklist before you land and before you take off every single time, no matter how many phone calls you've done. What we've done here is make sure you have your checklist, especially for Medicare, to make sure that every call has every check mark for compliance for CMS, but also to make sure that you've done your best to convert this call. And if you go through this 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to have a sale on your plate, right? Or at least a referral or an ancillary sale or a cross sell or something similar. So here you'll have your basic CRM, right, which you can capture all of their information. And if you don't go through the compliance checklist, then you don't get 100% score, right? Which one of the things that we're working on that we're really excited about is creating more gamification within the platform, right? So some of the things that I've learned, especially from my own agents and from myself taking calls, is that there's this thing called call fatigue. And call fatigue is very real, and it's one of the biggest killers of sales agents. You're being on these tired, these frankly shitty looking platforms, right? These outdated looking platforms that aren't fun. You're maybe talking to people that aren't always the most fun to deal with, right? So like we're adding little gamification bits like this, right? With every sale, you get fireworks, and we have different animations and different things. There's little Easter eggs hidden all over the platform, so that if you do the right thing, if you're driving the right actions, you will get rewarded and get a little dopamine shot, right? And one of the things we're working on later is we'll be building an XP bar in here as well, right? So like you'll be gaining these points, and these points will allow you to unlock not only more free calls, but free trips, free prizes, and all kinds of different things that will be coming as well. So that's pretty much the bulk of the platform here, right? Once you're done taking calls, you can just pause or go offline here, right? We have streaks that'll show you, right? So for hitting compliance checklists, for hitting sales and different types of sales, and for showing up every day, you're going to get different rewards that will come and more Easter eggs that will come with that as well. So one of the things that I want to transition to is, how do these calls get here, right? How does the system work? What pre-qualifies them before they reach you here? Most people aren't going to be willing to show you guys this, but I'm going to open up the veil a little bit deeper, right? So I have here Facebook ads library, and this isn't our page exactly, but we run ads very, very similar to this. This is one of our competitors. You know, I obviously didn't want to give away our full sauce quite here just yet, but I can give you an example here with one of our competitors, right? So these are the types of ads that a consumer or beneficiary might see for Medicare before they get on the phone here, right? And all of these ads need to be CMS approved, right? Regardless of what vertical we're running them for, we always make sure that they're 100% 100% compliant. And then we're always testing to make sure that we're hitting CPAs and hitting conversion rates, right? So here you'll see it's typically driven by benefits. Most marketing is always driven by benefits, right? And then we call out different qualifiers and different things, right? So like in this example, was calling out dual special needs plans, right? So in order to get the grocery allowance, you need to have a dual special need plan, right? And having those keywords in your ads is a pro tip because Google and Facebook knows who these people are, right? So by calling out and putting the different keywords that you need in your ads, it'll help call out the different people that you need, right? So they see an ad like this, and then typically they'll click on the page and they'll land on a page like this. And here's the page. Here you can see at the bottom will be the CMS. It's made from a carrier that approved it, you know, all the required disclaimers and whatnot. And here's a landing page that gives them a little bit of anticipation of what's going on here, right? And then gets them started, right? So typically they click yes, and then they land here. This is a very simple version of this. Here, let me see if this is another one. Here's another one, right? Where most times our funnels especially will start to ask questions, like this one is a perfect example, right? So it will pre-sell you or Medicare Advantage plans have low or $0 monthly premiums and include routine dental benefits. Is this something you're interested in? Yes. All right. What's your age? 65 to 75, let's say. Okay, perfect. Do you currently have Medicare A and B? Yes. Perfect. Have you been diagnosed with a chronic condition? Well, here's some more information. If the answer is yes, then boom, we show them the phone number. Based on these different questions, typically in our funnel, right? If they're not qualified, then we would start to wrap them or try to offer them different offerings or benefits as well, right? So typically, again, they would go through a quick quiz like this that asks them some very quick questions just to measure intent and make sure they are the person that we want. When they click this phone number, it would initiate the phone call. And then before we connect them with you, they would land on what's called an IVR, which I talked about in my other videos here, right? And that IVR is basically press 1 if you have Medicare A and B, press 2 if you don't. Press 1 if you're over 65, press 2 if you don't, right? We reiterate a lot of the same questions in order to make sure that they answered correctly and that they're actually the right person before we connect them with you. Something worth mentioning here is whatever states that you select in the platform, we only send you calls from those states, so you never need to worry about that. So that's it. And that's pretty much the full walkthrough here. All right. One thing I really touch on is pricing. We're working on a bunch of new functionality, so we'll be releasing new tiers probably between when I just film this and when we release those. But at the end of the day, there's only one price that you need to worry about, and that's your price per call, your price per conversation, and that is what we're building here. Instead of having to pay different fees for a CRM, for a dialer, for a marketer, for this, for that, we're going to put everything into one platform for you, where all you have to think about and all you have to worry about is what does it cost me to speak to a new qualified person, right? And then all you have to think about is how many of those can I convert into a policy, into a sale, into a deal, right? And then what does it cost me to generate those deals? And then how many of those deals can I do every single day? And that's the infinite money glitch. That was a full walkthrough of how our platform works from start to finish and how agents are using this to stop paying for leads that ghost them and only pay for actual conversations with qualified shoppers who are ready to talk right now. If you want to learn more or you got questions about how this would work for your book of business, there's a link in the description. You can book a call with our team and they'll walk you through your specific setup, answer any questions, and show you exactly how this fits with what you're doing. If not, I hope you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you on the flip side.